back, folks. It's time now to get real. And I want to begin by addressing a comment that I made last night on this show about a Wayne County, Michigan Democrat election canvasser named Ned Stabley. I used a certain slang term to describe this man after he went on a live Zoom call with the public and called out the two brave canvassers who would not certify that county's votes because of the massive amount of election irregularities and fraud. Since our show aired last night, I've received several emails from viewers. A lot of Fox News transplants who've just tuned in to One America News and this show, Real America, voicing their displeasure with my choice of words in reference to Mr. Stabler. Before we get to that part of this segment, I want you to see exactly what Mr. Stabler said about these two Americans who took a stand against this rigged election.
We also know that the Secretary of State and the Attorney General have already tweeted out that your legal arguments are rubbish and you're going to lose when it comes to court. So we're not worried about that at all. I'm also not worried about any of your, things are bad so we can't certify arguments, because that's just ridiculous. You certified in August when they were worse. Less than 50% of the ballots were recountable. Now over 72% are. 58% of them are even balanced when it was less than 30% last time. So it's doubled. It's gotten way better because the Secretary of State actually jumped in and did her job, unlike you. But I know it's not going to change your opinion. You talked about not certifying Detroit, even though you acknowledged that Livonia, a city, by the way, I know you know is 95% white, had bigger variances than Detroit, which is 80% black. We understand, and you now added your name. So I'm not going to try to change your mind. I just want to let you know that the Trump stink, the stain of racism that you, William Hartman, and Monica Palmer have just covered yourself in is going to follow you throughout history. Your grandchildren are going to think of you like Bull Connor or George Wallace. Monica Palmer and William Hartman will forever be known in southeastern Michigan as two racists who did something so unprecedented that they disenfranchised hundreds of thousands of black voters in the city of Detroit because they were ordered to. Probably, I know, Monica, you think Q told you to do it or some other crazy stuff like that. But just know when you try to sleep tonight that millions of people around the world now on Twitter know the name Monica Palmer and William Hartman as two people completely racist and without an understanding of what integrity means or a shred of human decency. The law isn't on your side, history won't be on your side, your conscience will not be on your side, and Lord knows, when you go to meet your maker, your soul is going to be very, very warm.
Your soul is going to be very, very warm. You two are racists. You have a Trump stain. So, there you have it, folks. That man doxed these courageous individuals. If you're not familiar with that term, is it a tactic that the left has been using against conservatives and Trump supporters for the last several years. They seek out private information about an individual, then they call them out on social media or in the mainstream media, drawing attention to them, their family, their children, their place of employment, counting on other radical liberals to join in and act out against them in some manner. Whether it's constant online bullying, actual threats against them and their family and friends, all in an effort to get them banned online, fired from a job, or even in some cases worse, physical harm. And in this instance, it worked. As we've now witnessed over the past 2 days, those two canvassers, Monica Palmer and William Hartman, who you heard him call them out, saying millions of people around the world will know them now, they were pressured to recant their objections against the vote certification and then voted to certify. But oh wait, the plot thickens. As we told you earlier in this show, they have now doubled down on their original decision of not voting to certify. In fact, those two have filed affidavits stating that they were threatened and bullied into voting to approve it. So you see, folks, what we have here is a group of radical leftists who will stop at nothing to regain power and push President Donald J. Trump out of office by any means necessary, even rigging an election, threatening and bullying anyone who defies them. Then they label and name call any conservative or Trump supporter to try and discredit them. You know the terms they've been using for the past 4 years. Maybe you, yourself watching this right now, have been called those terms: racist, white nationalist, a Nazi, homophobe, sexist. The list goes on and on. In fact, just this week, Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, made this statement during an interview with the Washington Post about Trump supporters and the president's rallies.
To speak about me at every single rally didn't really matter where he was,
Right.
sometimes multiple times in a day, as he had held his Klan rallies throughout the country.
Klan rallies. Are you a Klan member? I'm asking you, the viewer. I'm not. I'm a conservative who supports this president. What she said is downright despicable. But back to my original point here, folks. I bring all this up to help explain to the handful of viewers who emailed us over the past 24 hours with their concern over my language. I want to let you know that I call it like I see it here on this show. Hence the name of the show, Real America. I like to keep things as real as possible. And at that moment, when I heard what Mr. Stabler had said and done, I called him out for his actions, and rightfully so. But with that said, I do want to apologize to the viewers who were offended. That was never my intent. I understand that many of you have made the move from Fox to OAN, and we appreciate your confidence in us. I would never want to do anything that breaks that trust. However, there will be no apology to Mr. Stabler. I stand by my comments. In fact, the only way I would apologize to that disgusting human being is if he made a full and outright apology on his hands and knees to the two brave canvassers that he threatened and bullied. Then maybe, just maybe, I'm thinking about an apology to him. Probably not. I'd also like to point out that as I make this statement about my comments last night, they come of my own free will, and not because I was directed to by the management or ownership here at One America. Nope, that's not how we operate here. Unlike the mainstream media outlets who are handed direct talking points and told to push a narrative and an agenda against conservatives and our president, that didn't happen here. No one tells me or this show and my producers to push an agenda or stick to talking points. In fact, since we launched this show back in September, I've asked that all the viewer feedback emails regarding this show be delivered directly to me. Why? Because I want to hear directly from you, the people, the real Americans who are seeking the truth. And I want you to know that I take your opinions and your comments to heart. I truly do. And so it is my mission to provide you with the truth, a little of my conservative opinion. This is, after all, a talk show, not a newscast. And maybe every once in a while, a little humor, because God knows we could all use a little of that in our lives right now during these troubling times. So again, to the viewers who took offense, I am truly sorry. I'll continue to work hard to earn and keep your trust. Just remember, I'm here fighting for you. And when I see the radical left attack you, I want to fight back. Maybe I got a little carried away last night, but you know, sometimes you got to fight fire with fire. And that's going to do it for our show tonight, folks. We appreciate you. We truly do, for tuning in to Real America right here on the One America News Network. If you would like to sound off, again, with positive or negative feedback, send them over. I will address them. This is your show. There's my email, Twitter, Facebook. Send them all in. Hope you have a great evening. See you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. But until then, be proud, be safe. God bless.